At Maurice's, we're all about great jeans. You know, the ones that fit you just right. The ones that go from work days to weekends and everywhere in between. The ones that simply make you feel good. Because you don't just wear jeans, you live in them. With 25 sizes, 5 lengths, and 6 denim brands, you've got options. And fit experts in every store to make jean shopping easier. Find great jeans starting at $29.90 in stores and at Maurice's.com.
Hello and welcome to Mars Universe podcast. So, happy Friday, everybody. Yay! Yes, we're not going to be screaming and shouting because, come on, people, can't go crazy and give everybody a heart attack on the podcast. So, in today's episode, I want to guide you into something often overlooked, underestimated, and yet profoundly transformative. Stillness. Oh, yeah. So in our fast-paced, noisy world, silence can feel uncomfortable, almost foreign. But it is in stillness that we discover our deepest wisdom, our intentions, our connection to life itself. Stillness is not emptiness. Stillness is a language, subtle, intimate, and sacred. It speaks in whispers, nudge, and quiet sensation. And learning to listen is one of the most powerful acts of self-love you can ever practice. It is so true because in the world we're living in, we have a tendency to make a lot of noise because we do not want to hear anything. And we want the distraction. I do that as well. So we're speaking for experience as well here. But you know what? When you practice this, so wherever you are right now, take a deep breath, let your shoulder relax, let your mind soften, and together, let's explore the language of stillness and how to hear it, how to trust it, and how to live from it. Because this is what we need in our lives. We need answers, and this is not by creating a chaos and noise that we get those answers and those guidance. So, rediscovering silence. Silence can feel intimidating because it reflects what already is inside of us. When we stop the noise of the world, the constant notifications, the endless to-do list, the chatter of opinion and expectation, something happens actually. Our own voice begins to emerge. Oh, la-di-da. And sometimes we don't like what we hear at first. Oh, booyah. Talk to me about this one. Especially when we try to put our head into the sand to ignore what we're supposed to do. Fear, grief, that, and doubts, or longing, all these layers rise to the surface when we allow quiet. So let me ask the question actually, because how many of you have ignored those by creating noise around you so you don't have to deal with it? Been there, done that. But you come to a point you're going to have to deal with it. The sooner is always the better. The more we try to delay, the worse it can be. But here's the gift. Stillness doesn't ask you to push anything away at all. It's asking you to notice, to breathe, to witness without any judgment. Yes, it does. Think of it like water settling in a jar. At first, the water is murky. stirring up by motion, by fear, by distraction. But given time, it becomes clear. You can see the bottom, you can see yourself. Silence is that settling. It's the pause where clarity is born. It's where intuition, inspiration, and insight find their voice. And the more you practice it, the more familiar it becomes. You begin to crave this moment of quiet. You begin to trust them, actually, which is good. And your inner voice, the one drowned out for so long, begins to speak more clearly. This is what we're talking about, is being able to listen to your inner voice, not your ego, not what you're creating to give yourself the distraction you need so you don't want to deal with what you got to do in your life. So listening to the inner voice, what does it sound like? Because sometimes we call inner voice your intuition, sometimes called soul, sometimes called wisdom, but rarely shouts. It doesn't scream, it's not super loud in our head, it's just that soft whispers. It communicates subtly, softly, a gentle nudge towards someone or something, a quiet hesitation when something isn't right, a feeling in the chest or stomach that words cannot describe. So learning to listen to this voice requires patience and practice. It requires us to slow down and noticing pattern instead of rushing for solutions. Here's how you can deepen your connection with your inner voice. Daily stillness practice. Even 5 minutes of quiet meditation each morning recalibrates your mind and opens your awareness. You can do that when you wake up, actually. You stay in bed and for 5 minutes, keep your mind quiet, peaceful. You can breathe softly, in and out, mindfully, just observing. 5 minutes. Journaling without judgment. Writing freely. Allow your subconscious to speak, revealing insight that might otherwise remain hidden. Nature and observation, which I love. The wind, the waves, the rhythm of the trees. Nature a mirror or inner wisdom and teaches us the language of patience. Our inner voices is often present, but often drowned out about distraction. Yes, we do. We like to drown it out. We like to stress, self-doubt, distraction, bringing everything, even the kitchen sink, not the chicken, but the kitchen sink, just to be distracted. Stillness is the microphone that amplifies it. That's what it is. For the inner voice, stillness is the microphone, is the outlet, the way to be able to express ourselves. And when you begin to trust it, something remarkable happens. Your decision feels more aligned. Your energy feels lighter. Your path feels guided. You start to act not from impulse, reactions, or fear, but from clearly authenticity and inner knowing. Yes, we do. If you think about decisions you have done in the past that were quick, impulse, then you realize that wasn't a good decision, then it backfire in your face, and you think about others' decisions you have made by taking the time to think and listen to your guidance, to your gut feeling, to your intuition, and that align perfectly with everything else. Think about that. Think about the feeling, the energy. Think about the moment and how you felt both ways. You will understand that the impulse, you are basically in a fight mode and you're reacting and your muscles are tense. When you're doing it deliberately, following your intuition, you might feel a little bit of scared and doubt, but you know deep inside of you when you're relaxed that you're going to go for it and it's going to work out anyhow. And it always does. Now let's talk about living from stillness. Living from stillness is not about retreating from life at all. It's about approaching life with presence, being present in the moment. It's about choosing clarity over noise, depth over distraction, and wisdom over urgency. When you live from stillness, you notice you react less, you respond more. You speak less to fill space and more to express truth. And you move less out of habit and more out of intentions. That's the key. For me, intentions have always been the key, because if you think, what is your intention on moving forward? What is your intention on fill out the blank? On everything you do, whether it's home or personal. You want to do gardening, you want to do a remodeling. Set your intentions and follow if it's aligned with your true intentions. I have done things with the wrong intentions, and that backfired pretty badly. And I learned to realign myself with the truth. Stillness creates space for insight, creativity, and peace. It allows you and us and me and you and everybody else's to notice the subtle currents guiding our lives, rather than being swept along blindly by external demands. And it's being swept by news, by fear that, the collective fear, by everything and anything that everybody is trying to make you drink the Kool-Aid. When you stop and step out of that hamster wheel, then you bring the stillness within yourself. You do not react. You step away from everything. Because think of stillness as a wellspring. Each moment you spend in quiet replenishes you. It restores your energy. It sharpens your intuition, and it reconnects you to your essence, to who you are. And the more you practice, the more you realize stillness is not something you find outside of yourself, actually. It's something you cultivate within yourself. It's not a luxury, it's a necessity. Let me say that again. It is not a luxury, it's a necessity for every one of us. In order to be grounded and whole, we need to be living in stillness. We need this. Otherwise, our spirit goes in and out like a freaking yo-yo. Seriously. When you see people overreacting, and you see this on social media when filming some stuff and people are really out of their freaking mind or having a meltdown. They are in and out of their body. Why? Because they are not aligned. Why? Because they are not grounded. Why? Because they have created so much chaos into their life. Stillness is not there. Their intuition, their grounding is not there anymore. They are in the middle of the chaos. In the time we're living, and knowing that AI is doing some very bad trick on people over social media, then it's TikTok, Insta, Facebook, but especially TikTok right now, there is parts of programming that people want to digest false information, any way, shape, and form that will bring you fears into your life. Fears of not living safely. At the end of the day, you choose if you want to continue to watch this, the same with the news, or not. When you step outside of that hamster wheel, you find that you're grounded. You find that you're not sucked into that madness, and you can really reflect on the practice. Being grounded before we being pushed against the wall that there is no tomorrow. That's the problem that I see quite often. And I had that experience at the beginning of the year, actually, where and it was all over the social media and the news, where we were bombarded with the idea of fear for our life, fear for everything. It put me back in a state of, and it was a generational legacy from my side, of fear of World War II. And I'm talking about the Nazi, what they did. And having to relieve this brought that fear where in my generational lines, I have people who have experienced while my father experienced that. My grandparents had to do that. I have one who was from the colonies and brought back to Europe under the false pretense and had to fight 2 wars. Not 1 but 2. Okay? A part of the Foreign Legion, actually. On the top of it, even if he was from the colonies, he wasn't part of that country. So that fear went from the time of their hardship and my grandmother too, to the other side of the family, where again they were living in peace and war came along and transformed everything. That fear was passed down from one generation into the DNA. Now, back at the beginning of the year, where things were going the wrong way with manipulation of social media and the news to bring fear into people, and reactive on one side bring fear to people, and on the other side instill more hate and trigger more people to produce hate, it rarely hit home until I stopped. And I said, that's enough. I'm feeling too much of that madness here. I need to unplug. And I retrieve myself from, first of all, I don't watch the news because half of it, it's a lot of crap around. But from social media, stepped out, and changed the gear in order to stay grounded. It's very difficult when you're being bombarded and they try to make you addicted to social media, to addicted at least. And now, stepping back will help to stay grounded, being in stillness, taking the time to be present in the moment, reaching and going to nature. If you like to run or walk or you go to the gym, then spend a little bit more time there. If you do it like I do from home, do the same thing. Or walk outside. That's why I'm so blessed I have my dogs, because they are the one who I go outside and my walks. I have that routine going with those guys. But it's being able to really stop that chaos. When 2023 was the dark night of the soul, and having to face all of the stuff I had to do, I ignored it at first, and I realized I was in danger of losing everything. And I turned myself around and started to face everything. I had faith, and everything would turn out okay, and it did actually. It turned out more than okay. But it was just to keep me afloat and get everything done. It was just getting your life back on track. And how do you do that? By quieting the chaos, by not entering or being in that dance anymore. Yes, it is unpleasant. Yes, it is scary to face what you gotta face. Your nose into the doo-doo no matter what. But you think about it at the end of the day. When you instill quietness in your life, stillness and quietness, it gives you the break you need to unplug. A lot of people are not unplugged. If you take the time for a few hours to be unplugged when you're at home, you're bringing back the stillness. If you take the time to have a walk with your dogs or by yourself or whatever, because before I had my dog, I used to walk as well by myself. So it's instilling that stillness, that peacefulness. You can maybe play music and then sit and listening to whatever, play your favorite music. Do something that elevates you, grounds you, not make you react or overreact or triggers you. I have things that triggers me in these mornings. Somebody made a comment and I just put them back in their place because I'm like, no, that is not right. But I let them be afterwards, because don't trigger me, because it's not going to work. But I'm going to stand my ground and say what I got to say. So when you're looking at everything like that, then you can feel that you're moving into the right direction. But if you continue to welcome the chaos, don't expect stillness and quietness and peacefulness in your life at all. Unless you're a DJ and you work overnight in a nightclub or whatever, you do raves, that's okay. But I'm thinking about people who, and again, speaking for experience, have created noise because you do not want to deal with what you got to deal with. So it takes courage to be aware of our patterns, of what we do, in order to numb ourselves. But you know what? We're not like the house churches put their head into the sand. We're going to have sooner or later to remove that head and see what we got to face. Take your time. It might be overwhelming, but like a piece of cake, choose which way you're going to go, and one step at a time. But when you're really bringing your quietness, the stillness in your life, clarity is something that you're going to have in your life as well. And this is so important to have that. So understand that quietness and stillness is part of our practice. And, start small. Again, you don't have to think you have to sit down in full quietness in order to do that for 10 hours. But at least practice 5 minutes. The ideal time is in the morning, when you just wake up. You don't have to think about anything. Just breathe, look around, listen to the noise around you in the house or in your bedroom or wherever you are, and just be still in bed. And after 5 minutes, just get up and move on to your day, softly and quietly, keeping the awareness in the morning. I think it's one of the key to start with, and you can do it at night as well. This is one of the best practices you can do when you want to start with that. So I encourage everybody to start to do that. It's not difficult to squeeze 5 minutes in the morning. If you have to turn your alarm on, by 5 minutes more, that's okay. That's not a big deal. Just do it. But practicing it every day will help you. There is so much benefit you get out of it, seriously. And that's the key. What are you getting out of it? Well, you get out of it that inner voice. You get out of it that alignment and the intentions, and the good one, actually. Like I said, in previous, my intentions were not aligned with what it was supposed to be. And it's not out of greed. When you're talking about intentions, because people say, well, if you're not aligned, it's out of greed. No, really. Sometimes intentions can be set like you set an intention and it happened to not be aligned properly, then that makes more sense that it's not going to work. So, before I close today for Friday, I want to invite you into a guided reflection. And again, if you're driving or dealing with heavy equipment, please don't do that. Okay, that's what I'm saying right now. But just for other people, close your eyes if you can. Take a deep breath. Feel the weight of your body grounded in your seat. Now, imagine a quiet forest at dawn. The air is cool and soft. The leaves barely move. Notice the rhythm of your breath. Steady, gentle, alive. Ask yourself, what do I need to hear today? Where have I been ignoring my inner voice? What guidance is waiting for me in silence? Sit with this question for a moment. Feel your intuition responding, not with words, but with subtle sensations, maybe images or emotions. Trust whatever arises. Even if nothing seems to happen immediately, the act of listening strengthens your connection. Stillness is a practice, not a performance. It's not about getting it right. It's about showing up. So as we close today, remember this. Stillness is a language you already know. You just need to make space to hear it. You don't need to escape your life to find it. You don't need silence around you. Only silence within you. Start small. Even a minute of presence each day will ripple through your life. Notice the subtle whispers. Trust the quiet nudges. Respond with your heart. And know this, the more you listen, the more you align your life becomes. The more you trust, the more clarity appears. The more still you are, the more free you become. So today, wherever you are, take a breath, sit in silence, listen, and honor the voice that has always been waiting for you. Thank you for being here with me today. Until next time, may your days be spacious, your heart centered, and your soul attuned to the quiet wisdom within. All my love, guys, and I will talk to you later. Bye now. transformative podcast.